All right, good morning. My name is Stephen Isle, and I am pleased to be here this morning in Pella, Iowa at the home of Thunder Creek Equipment. We're really glad to have you along with us. If you don't know about Thunder Creek Equipment, we started in 2009. It's a farmer family-owned company right here in America in Pella, Iowa. We've been producing the trailers here since 2009. And I think everybody knows that this year's a little bit different. We're not going to have those farm shows this fall, so we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. We're going to kind of take you through some of our products that we would normally take to those shows and just show you how we utilize those. We would also encourage you to treat this just like you would if you came to a farm show. Obviously it's virtual, but as you're sitting there in front of your screen, there's a question box. Feel free to click on that and just type in questions as they come up as we're going through these products today. We'll try to get to as many of those as we can at the end of this, and if we don't, we'll address those later, but please keep those questions coming. All right, first we're going to start right over here with our flagship and our best seller. That is our FST 990 Thunder Creek fuel trailer. So FST just stands for fuel service trailer, and 990 is the amount of gallons of diesel that this fuel trailer will hold. Now, we do make some other models, but again, this is the most popular. We make this in two other sizes. We make a 750 and a 500. We're just going to kind of start at the ground up here. We have Dexter torsion axles that give us the ride and stability on this trailer. And then we have a 7.5-inch frame. And then our tank that holds the fuel is actually integrated into that frame. That's what allows these trailers to put up with the rugged environment that you're going to put them up against and last for years and years to come. So the tank itself is made of 7-gauge steel. And we take that 7-gauge steel, and on all the corners, we overlap that metal, and as you can see, there is a weld on the outside as well as on the inside. And what that does is after years of that fuel transferring back and forth and hitting these back panels and side panels, it's going to allow that tank to stay together and not split. That's where you see most failures on tanks that are put together that don't have that type of design or that thickness of metal. Now, the only place we don't do that is on top of the trailer. We'd have to leave somebody inside every time if we did that, so we do not do that on the top. Okay, also inside of the tank, there is baffles. So we have 3 full-height baffles running the length of the trailer from left to right. Now what those baffles do is they keep that fuel from going all the way to the front to back and rock, especially if this thing's half empty or half full, however you want to look at it, right? 500 gallons of fuel, that's when it's going to try to transfer that motion the worst. And that's when, if you've ever hauled fluid, you get that push or wants to push it through a stop sign and feel it when you take off. This trailer will not do that. It is designed and engineered to keep from doing that. The ports in the baffles are even cross-ported so that the fuel can't go all the way from the back to the front without going through that channel system. Now we also have 2 full-height baffles going this direction in the tank. And what that does is when you're driving down the road at highway speeds, pulling this thing safely along, if you have to swerve to miss a deer or an accident or a pothole, you're not going to get that side-to-side swaying action. There are some great videos that we've actually shot in the past where we put a camera in the back of the truck and show some homemade solutions versus this solution going up and down the road and kind of how that feel is going to be for you there and the safety on this trailer. We've got 2 fill ports on top. That's how you're going to fill this trailer. There's 1 on each side. So whether you have 2 tanks back at the farm or you just, whichever side you pull up to, you can fill through. And then I'm going to take you and show you our fuel pump box. So this is how we're going to get that fuel transferred out of the tank and into the tractor or combine or the piece of equipment. This trailer, being our most popular trailer, is equipped with our signature option package. So that has 5 of our most common options on this trailer. A couple being these wheels and tires right here, the aluminum wheels and the tires. Sorry, I'm jumping around on you a little bit. And then back into this fuel box, this is kind of the bread and butter, right? This is one of those things that's doing the efficiencies for us on the farm. This is our gas-powered engine, 6.5 horse engine. It's electric key start and the pump. Now that is going to pump 40 gallon a minute at the nozzle. So a lot of pumps are rated at the pump. We actually are rating that at the nozzle. So when you go to put a couple 100 gallons, 200 gallons in the combine, you're going to be able to do that in 5 minutes with this machine. We're also filtering that fuel. We come standard with a 10 micron filter, and we even have upgrades beyond that. But it does come standard with a 10 micron filter, so you're getting clean fuel with all those tight tolerances on injectors and things like that with the equipment today. And then also there's a fuel gauge. Now one thing you may have noticed is this cabinet is lit. Now we did not just do that for today for the camera shots. When you open each one of our compartments, that light is going to come on. Obviously, when days get short, a lot of times you're going to be fueling early in the morning or late in the evening. That is standard equipment on all of our trailers. When you open that door, you're going to be able to see what you're doing. After that, we're going to transfer to the front of the trailer. As you open the front door, and you may notice some changes from previous models, we go up. It makes it a little easier to get in, gives you a little bit more room to get around the trailer. But inside here is our number one option by far, which is the DEF system. So as many growers out there have been faced with the challenges of diesel exhaust fluid being on equipment over the last 8 or 9 years and transitioning into those newer pieces of equipment for that final Tier 4, they're trying to find a way to handle diesel exhaust fluid. So what we do at Thunder Creek is we offer an ISO approved system. So that's what this tag is signifying down here. What that means is basically we just put that through a process here in the factory to make sure that this is meeting that ISO and industry standard, that you're getting a clean and contaminant DEF system. Now we want to continue that out in the field. Every engine manufacturer that's out there recommends that you use a closed loop or a sealed system when delivering your DEF, because we all know contamination is the number one issue when it comes to SCR system failures on equipment. Now the way that we do that on our system, and I'm proud to say that we recently just got a patent on this system, is we use a 2-in-1 closed loop system. So all of our tanks are going to come with this micromatic coupler. So it's simply sitting in a holder on our 100-gallon poly tank. Again, it's a 100-gallon system. You're going to take this micromatic coupler off, and now the totes that you would buy that your DEF would come in, those poly 275 and 330-gallon totes, they have a plastic lid on top of them. In the middle of that lid, there is a fitting that looks just like this, and it's got a straw on it that goes down in the bottom. What you can simply do with this is you just lock this micromatic coupler into the top. You've got a stainless steel quick connect fitting right here. We're going to quick couple off of this nozzle. We're going to take our hose and quick couple on. And then we have a bidirectional pump that's made just for us. So all we have to do is hit tank fill on this switch, and it's going to draw from that tote and into this tank. Another nice feature about this trailer is when you're filling it, because this pump, and if you're familiar with some of our older models, this pump's going to pump about 8 gallons a minute. So it's going to fill this tank a lot faster, 10, 12 minutes. You catch a phone call and you're not paying attention, this gauge, with being electronic, when it hits full, it automatically turns that pump off. So we don't have to worry about overflowing the DEF system and putting DEF into the front compartment of this nice shiny trailer. You simply just, after that, quick couple back over to your nozzle when you're out in the field, and then you're going to hit tank dispense and be able to pump into your equipment. And again, an auto shut-off nozzle on this nozzle, just like the fuel, so it's going to trip off and not overflow and flow and, run out on the ground and on your equipment. Now this trailer also has one of our most popular options, and that is our electric hydraulic jack. So with the speed and efficiency that you get with the Thunder Creek equipment, you're still also moving other things around on the farm, and we understand that. You're moving around head wagons, you're grabbing seed tenders, different things. To make that easier or a little bit quicker, we have this electric hydraulic jack. Simple, quick of the push of the button, it's going to raise the trailer and drop it. This is also a nice feature for maybe that older generation that's still helping out on the farm that doesn't have that physical capability to be able to crank that trailer up. As you can see, there are some empty spaces on this trailer here, and that's what makes this kind of that service part of that FST or that fuel service trailer. And what I mean by that is we have options out there. You can definitely just check them out at thundercreek.com. We have toolboxes. We use the C-Tech brand. They're actually built to hold up out there on the road, to be banging up and down the road and not going to open and throw your tools out. We do C-Tech boxes. We also offer auxiliary oil tanks. If you want to put 30 gallons of hydraulic oil on this trailer, so that when you blow a line, you don't have to scramble and run to an implement dealership and try to grab 5 buckets to refill that system. So we can put that on. Another thing on this trailer I should mention is the battery. So there's a deep cycle battery up here in the front nose of this trailer. Now that's kind of the lifeblood of your electric start on your gas-powered engine. That's going to run those interior lights that I was talking about. It's running this electric hydraulic jack and your DEF system pump. Now there's 2 ways that battery charges. When you're pulling it with the pickup truck, it's going to charge right here through your 7-pin connector as you're going up and down the road. There's going to be a lot of times when it's sitting on the barn lot or farm lot or sitting in the field, and in those times we actually offer a solar panel option. Now this solar panel is going to trickle charge that battery when you're not hooked up to the pickup truck, and hopefully keep this thing in service when you need it. We'll migrate back to the back of the trailer. I wanted to explain some other options that this trailer doesn't have, but it can have. So the FSTs are an extremely modular design. And what I mean by that is, if you ordered this trailer and, for example, you didn't get that DEF system that was in the front, say you're not into that Tier 4, you just want something to handle your fuel faster, you can leave that option off, you can order it later and bolt it in. It's only going to take you about an hour and a half time. Then you don't have to worry about trading your trailer at that point, and you can just add that option. Well, many of you may have seen our trailers with our utility box on the back. So our utility box can house a lot of different options again. Toolboxes, compressors, compressor generators, and even compressor generator welders. We have workbenches and vices, and we even have pneumatic grease systems that you can optionally back there. Now this trailer doesn't have it, but you could order it and actually add it on. Again, modular design, take the bumper off, you can actually bolt that unit on and integrate it into the FST. Again, guys, if you have questions, make sure you click on that question mark box there, type those in. We're going to get to those here in just a little bit. But if you have anything that I touched on or went over on that FST, don't hesitate to ask. We're going to address those here in just a minute. And then next, I'd like to take you over and show you another product we make that we utilize in the ag community quite a bit. And that is our EV model, or EV series. And I run into a lot of folks out there at shows and just in my travels and working with dealers that don't even know that we offer this product. So the great thing about the EV trailer, and that just stands for exceptional value, we also make it in the same three sizes, the 500, the 750, and the 990. But with this trailer, it structurally you're not sacrificing anything. When you buy this trailer, and it is, of course, at a much lower price point, you're still getting that great structure and integrity that you would get with that FST. The tank's built the same way with that overlap design, 7-gauge steel, and the baffles like we talked about on the FST. What you do give up is just some of those creature comforts, hose reels, enclosures, things like that, gas pump and that. I like to kind of equate it to a work truck package with vinyl floorboards and hand crank windshield versus, you know, maybe like a Denali package or something else out there like that. But this trailer here behind me, it is equipped, and we talked about that pump difference. This is a 25 gallon per minute electric pump, so it's a 12-volt pump. This trailer has an optional battery kit, so we're utilizing that same battery like we do on the FST. It will charge through the 7-pin connector. We've also added a solar panel to this trailer to help keep up with that. Now you can simply clip on this pump to that battery to run that pump, to pump your fuel, or you can hook to your pickup truck or your piece of equipment to get power on that. Now, with almost everything that we do at Thunder Creek, we offer a diesel exhaust fluid system with this also. This trailer does not have it on it, but again, you can bolt it on. We have an option to go up to a 50-gallon system, and it is that closed loop system that will draw on and pump off also on the economy trailer. Oh, yes, I'm just getting a reminder. We have some promos going on right now, obviously going into harvest. Check out our website. There's some clicks and downloads that you can tap on for those. We're offering 0% financing right now for 6 months with 5% down. And you can check that out at our website or at any of our dealers. At this time, I'm going to introduce Ross to you. Ross, a buddy of mine, he's here today. He's going to rattle off some questions from our viewers, I believe.
Absolutely. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, we've got a few great questions coming in here so far. So make sure if you do have questions about any of the technical features or any on-farm best practices, you get those in here. This first one is one that we get a lot, especially at farm shows. It's a basic question, but it's an important one. Stephen, how much do our trailers cost, just in a general range?
That's a great question. I get a lot of, I feel like, you know, everybody wants a Thunder Creek, but everybody feels like it costs too much. So I'd also find that I think a lot of growers, once they dive into that conversation with a dealer or one of us, they find out that maybe they're not quite as costly as what they thought. We have trailers that start at $8,725 and they just go up from there. And that really just depends on a lot of those options and things that you're adding to that trailer. More of our common FSTs are going to land in that mid-20 range. But yeah, that's kind of where most of the product is going to land price-wise out there in the market. I also like to show that, you know, the way that this trailer is going to pay for itself, or if you choose to make that investment with us, which we sure hope that you do, that the way that you're going to see that payoff is much like you would with other products that you use on the farm, like a seed tender, right? You buy a seed tender to help fill up the planter faster so that you can make more rounds in the day. You may buy a high-speed planter that's north of $250,000 to cover more acres. Well, why do all that to have your fueling efficiency be pumping 8 gallon a minute out of a 110-gallon tank and making multiple trips? You know, we're trying to help close the gap on that and get you rolling and take something that may be a 30-minute chore every day for you, where you're not being productive, and get you rolling. The other nice thing about the fuel trailers is you're always using diesel fuel. So a lot of things that you buy to utilize on the farm are seasonal, right? You're using them. Seed tender, exactly, right? Perfect example. You're just using that in the spring primarily. You know, with the fuel trailers, you're going to be using them spring and fall.
Excellent. We've got another question here from Jeff in Nebraska. Jeff asks, how much does a typical trailer weigh? I think using the FST as an example.
Yeah.
And what do I need to pull it with?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jeff. I mean, there's a lot of steel here, and it's a high capacity of fuel, and a lot of folks look at this from a safety standpoint, right? They want to get into something as a safer solution to pull them down the road. We want you to be safe. For example, an FST 990 has two 7,000-pound axles. It is rated at a 14,000-pound GVW. Most of our ag growers are probably going to pull that comfortably with a 3/4-ton diesel pickup truck.
Great. This next question relates to hazmat endorsements and needing to trailer this much fuel. As farmers, do they need a hazmat endorsement to pull a Thunder Creek?
The simple answer is no. So there is a farm ag exemption out there that allows farmers to pull diesel fuel and to not have a hazmat endorsement. The only caveat or the only restrictions really are they can't be traveling across state lines. They've got to be typically within 150 miles of their home farm, and they have to be in farm practices, right? You can't own an excavating business on the side and be using this in the off season and be legal. The exemption is for ag use and being in the use for production agricultural purposes.
One quick follow-up there, Stephen. Thunder Creek does make no hazmat products as well that would fit with that audience.
Absolutely. So that's what led to the design of, you know, one of the sister products, which is our MTT or multi-tank trailer. So if you have a need for that, we absolutely have a model out there that can work with your needs to get you bulk fuel to the field that does not require a hazmat. Or let's say you are a farmer and then you do have an excavating business, so you want something that's going to cover both needs, or you're up against that state line and want to be able to do that legally. You should tune back in at 1 o'clock and check us out on that webcast, because we're going to talk about those products then.
Jason, who is joining us live here from Iowa, asks an options related question. He wants to know if he can get the same options on a smaller FST as would be available on the FST 990.
Yeah, great question, Jason. So a lot of the options, not a lot, all the options are identical. From our 500 platform all the way to our 990, you're going to be looking at, the only thing that changes is the tank size. We just make the tank shorter, basically. That's kind of it in a nutshell. So that front box on a 990 is exactly the same on a 500. So you have the exact same amount of room to put toolboxes or auxiliary oil tanks. We also offer a auxiliary light tower. If you want to light everything up at night, that'll fit on the 500 just as well as the 990. Same goes for that utility box that we mentioned earlier. It's the exact same as it would be for a 500, 750, or 990.
Awesome. Ryan in Ohio asks, he's challenging you here a little bit, Stephen. Why would I buy a Thunder Creek instead of making my own fuel trailer in my shop?
I mean, you know, our biggest challenge or our biggest opportunity, however you want to look at that, is homemade trailers. So I mentioned that this is a farmer family owned company. This product was built out of necessity. Where we stand right here in Pella, Iowa, right here in the heart of corn country in America, is where the Van Wyck started this company. So they were farming, they were using a 1,000-gallon round tank that they had on an old John Deere running gear, okay? So they knew there had to be a better, safer, and faster way to do that. And I think that pretty much just sums it up, right? This was built out of necessity from a farmer. We know what farmers expect, and we hope to fulfill, you know, those demands. And we want to back you up and make you safer. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's going to make you safer. This is a DOT compliant trailer. We're going to have brakes on both axles. We've got the proper baffling, tank thickness that you're required to have to pull fuel up and down the road. We've also got those safety chains, the safety breakaway, those types of things. You know, it sure beats the heck out of, you know, turning some hired help or somebody that maybe not as trustworthy with a strap on a round tank on a car trailer, or pulling something together that doesn't have the integrity or the safety out there. That's probably the number one thing. The other thing that I encourage guys to think about is if they're considering doing their own homemade system versus buying or purchasing the Thunder Creek from us, is the capability of the DEF system, right? It's just, that's not something that's easy to recreate or put on your own trailer. You're probably gonna have to go buy another system, and kind of we offer that, obviously, and like to think that we do it well with that 2-in-1 closed loop system.
Thanks, Stephen, that was awesome.
You're welcome.
This next question comes from Eric in Texas, who actually, it looks like, owns one of our trailers.
Okay.
He has one of our original ADT trailers, but is thinking about upgrading to an FST.
Yeah.
How would Eric go about doing that?
Yeah. Well, one, give us a buzz, right? You can call in, check us out, look for a dealer. A lot of dealers out there are willing to take trades right now. We're seeing a lot more of that. You know, we started with that ADT. That was our kind of our flagship when we started. That stood for the all or ag diesel trailer at the time. We learned a lot of things as you go along and building, and we took a lot of feedback from customers, and that's when it developed into this FST platform. And there are somewhat over 60 improvements from an ADT to an FST. Now the good news is because of, I don't know, inflation, cost of steel, all those different things that are out there, those older ADTs are bringing really good money, depending on what kind of condition they are in. So that used market's really strong right now. Reach out to a dealer. Most of them would be more than happy to get you a trade number.
If somebody was interested in that, or even figuring out who their nearest dealer is, Stephen, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, check us out, thundercreek.com. Top right, there's kind of some top banner points. There's a dealer locator. Now the only tricky spot there you got to watch is make sure you're looking for an ag dealer if you're looking for ag product. So if you're looking for this FST and a stocking FST dealer, you're going to be looking for ag, but then you just pop in your zip code or city and it'll direct you to closest dealer. If you're having trouble with that, or you don't see somebody in your area, maybe we don't have a dealer. We don't have a dealer in every area. Feel free to call in to our 800 number. Give us a call at Thunder Creek.
Outstanding. Dylan in South Dakota would like to know, since we are making the trailers here in Pella, what is our turnaround time, and would it be possible to get into a trailer before the upcoming harvest season?
That's a good question. We are a build-to-order trailer manufacturer, but that being said, we have an extensive dealer network on the agricultural side. With building this product since 2009 and having dealers all across the country and in most states where there is especially row crop production ag going on, we should have a dealer and they should have inventory. Again, too, because of the modular design, let's say you find somebody and they're right down the road and they've got just the trailer that you want, but you want that rear box on it because you want to add the compressor, or you want to put your own compressor in it. Again, our dealer can order that from us and bolt it onto that trailer, and you can have that. That's going to delay that process about a week and a half, but you can definitely find units out there on the ground right now ready to roll for this fall.
Outstanding. Austin in Illinois asks, his question is related to newer equipment that they've been adding to their fleet. They only have really one machine now that uses DEF, but if they wanted to add DEF later, a DEF system later on, is that something that they could do? Yeah,
100%. So again, back to that modular design, if you want to get by with toting some jugs because you're only burning 6-8 gallons of DEF right now, but as you add more equipment or that equipment grows and demands more diesel exhaust fluid usage, what you do, I'll just kind of show you here on this trailer. There is a cutout area here with some bolts. If you order this trailer without the DEF system, this is just going to be a solid steel platform that sits here. When you order this DEF system, it all comes as one piece. It still went through that ISO certification process. It is clean, it is all fitted. You don't have any open fittings. Basically, this reel is just laid over, still loose. And what you're going to do is unbolt that plate and bolt it back on the bottom of the trailer. I think it's about 8 or 12 bolts. And then you're going to set that whole DEF system in, stand up the reel, tighten those 4 bolts, and then connect the electrical connection, and you have a DEF system that's ready to roll in the trailer.
Outstanding. So, Stephen, this next question comes from Joe in Missouri. So it looks like he's actually covering a pretty wide geographical area in terms of the land that he's managing. he's generally wondering about, you know, the overall safety, trailerability, and quality of the Thunder Creek, and why that would make a difference between what, it doesn't say exactly what he's using now, but let's assume that it's something homemade.
So the bigger the operation, the more spread out it is, just the more beneficial that Thunder Creek is, because you can cover that ground again that much faster. You know, this is, I can attest to this. I've pulled them with fuel in them. They pull just fantastic. And if you ever get a chance to experience that, do it, or again, watch those videos. But you're gonna be able to travel from point A to point B safely, and it's gonna hold up. I mean, we build these for all applications. We build them to be off-road. And by doing and building fuel trailers, that is our focus. That is our core product here, is fuel and service trailers at Thunder Creek. That is what we've been doing for the last 11 years. You also get to figure out what you don't do well. And a lot of people, I think, just think this is a box on wheels, but there is tons of R&D and engineering that's went into these products over the years to make them stronger and more structurally, you know, sound and lasting. So I think it's, you know, for lack of a better term, it's a rugged product that's built well. The only other thing that you know, sometimes larger customers will consider is a fuel truck as an alternative. And really, you're just limited there again on one, who can drive it, because you would need tanker endorsement because you're going over that 1,000 gallons. That's kind of why we stop at 990 on this. And you know, a lot of times those are maybe wouldn't pass an inspection and not have DEF on them. So.
Yeah, we want to make sure we're being sensitive to everybody's time here. So we'll have time for one more question here. Stephen, this question is about just the manufacturing capacity for Thunder Creek. We're here at Thunder Creek's headquarters, but are the trailers truly made in America?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Everything that you see, this building that we're standing in, it started as a farm fab shop, right? And it grew from there. And I've been blessed to be here for a little over 6 years total, and got to watch this country grow because of the sport of, especially, you know, customers of ours, the ag community out there buying these trailers and putting them to work. And everything is built here. And I've been able to see this facility grow, but not only the facility, but the people that build them, and the more families that are affected by that and able to come in here and put these products out. And they do a fantastic job. From a territory rep standpoint, they make my job extremely easy. They put out a fantastic product, and they stand behind it. So 100% built in America right here in Pella, Iowa. I do appreciate everyone's time. I guess that was the last question. If we didn't get to your question, we will address it. We will either email you or call you, and we will get that addressed. But we are going to leave you with a message from one of our customers, Redding Farms, and we're just going to let them share with you how that trailer's benefited them.
An interesting topic that's going on currently here in agriculture is how we adapt. How do we adapt and innovate in the industry, what we got right now? In the last year, we went from a finger pickup planter to automatic shutoffs to in-furrow fertilizer. Before we were doing 2x2 fertilizer, and just several different adjustments we're doing to try to gain those next steps in yield.
Yeah, we started out with an old trailer we built and had a 300-gallon tank in it and a welder for a generator, and it worked all right, but all of a sudden my oldest son thought we needed to start going towards a fuel tender with DEF and everything.
With our seed purchases, we had the ability to get a Thunder Creek through our seed company, and we were trying to narrow down what item we wanted to do. Well, we ended up looking at a Thunder Creek, and I had one that was going to another customer, and I always try to pull something into the lot if I can, then Dad takes a look at it and he likes what he sees or not.
It works awful nice, and then you still have air compressor generator, plus it really fills fast.
And then we found out what our payment per year was and with our seed purchases, and it worked out really good, and we ended up getting this fuel trailer for next to nothing.
It pumps probably 100 times faster than our electric pump does, so you don't spend much time filling up anymore. By the time you get the windows washed, it's full.
It can hold as much fuel as possible. I mean, we were only holding 300 gallons, so now we're holding 990 gallons plus another 100 gallons of DEF. I mean, tractors these days take DEF, so we're not getting around it anyway like that.
I look at it as innovative because it's set the stage in the marketplace.
You got air, you got fuel, you got DEF, because all of our tractors now have DEF on it. If we have a part broke, I can pull out the air compressor, out the reel, get the impact out. We can do it real quick and simple instead of using wrenches and trying to find a socket or something like that.
Just overall profit at the end of the day. With the commodities where they're at now, it's getting tougher and tougher to be able to make money to survive, and that's what we got to do. So it's all about efficiency. When we brought the Thunder Creek into our operation, it was simply to make us more efficient. It was the days of it takes you 10, 20, 30 minutes to fill up a tractor. Now it takes 5, 10 minutes. Now we got a full service trailer at the field that's helping us every step of the way.